welcome to Chilango's cooking channel. Today we have new decorations and we're making house Pibil Pulled Pork Burrito. I'm very happy to share this recipe with you guys today because in this one I'm taking a much more open, creative license, and I'm gonna do things that are super simple, super easy, and definitely just with a couple twitches making something unique and delicious. This was my #1 selling item in a couple of the restaurants I used to have here in Finland, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna love it. So let's begin with the pibil sauce. This is super simple. All you need is the achiote paste. Then you're gonna use garlic, salt, orange juice. You can use fresh orange juice or you can also use Tetra Pak. Now I'm adding also some black pepper. And then we're gonna add oregano, oil. You can also use olive oil if you prefer. And then vinegar. And make sure just to use something neutral, because if you use red wine or white wine vinegar, it's gonna change too much the flavor. Now we're just gonna blend everything until it's perfectly mixed. And that simple and that quickly, the pibil sauce is ready. So now we're gonna chop the pork neck that I'm using, and I'm also making a few incisions to allow the marinade to penetrate all the pork meat. You can basically use any part of the pork that you would like to. You could also use pork belly, but in this case I'm using the pork neck, or also called kassler. So now all we gotta do is marinate it and then cover it with aluminum foil, and you can let it be for a few hours marinating in the fridge. Then for the cooking, this is very important. First, we're gonna put it in a high temperature, 250 Celsius, 480 Fahrenheit, for only half an hour. And then we're gonna decrease the temperature of the oven all the way to 90 Celsius, 190 Fahrenheit, and leave it cooking for 9 hours. And this will give you the end result of a delicious, super tender pibil pork. So you're gonna chop some garlic in big chunks, and then we're also gonna slice some onion. And these are the ingredients that I'm gonna use for our salsa de molcajete, which we've also done on other videos before. Then with a spoon, I'm gonna spoon out the seeds of the habanero, because we don't want it to be too spicy, but we wanna have all the fruitiness and the flavors of habanero. For the other salsa, I'm gonna use yellow habanero, and this is only mainly to just bring a little bit of a different color to our preps. And then we're gonna cut red onion in slices, just like this. And this is gonna be for the Chipotle onions. It's not mandatory, but I like to put pineapple to my Chipotle onions. So we're gonna use all the meaty part and we're gonna cut it in small cubes. And then we're gonna add it to our Chipotle onions. These are super essential to make real and authentic pibil tacos. So now that we have the onions and the habanero, I'm adding salt and then a little bit of oregano. And you cannot appreciate, but you also have there the pineapple that we cut. And then you could use lime juice, or you can also use vinegar. In this case, I'm gonna use vinegar because we're already using lime juice for other preps in this same recipe. And in some places, they also add a little bit of beer to this Chipotle sauce. Mix all the ingredients and then let it rest in the fridge. Meanwhile, let's move on to our frijoles refritos, for which I'm frying here onion and garlic, like we've done in other recipes, that we've made the same recipe of the frijoles refritos. Then comes the margarine, and I actually forgot, I'm gonna add some salt as well. Here it comes. And as you can see, now it's losing liquids, so it's very important you add some fat. You could also use butter so that they don't get dry. And then we just keep smashing and smashing, and then they're gonna start becoming some sort of like a paste. So then you have your authentic and delicious frijoles refritos, which are super important for this recipe. And here we come back to our salsa. So I'm just frying the habanero, the garlic and the onions until they blacken. And then I'm gonna move on to put them into our molcajete, but you can also use a food processor or a blender. I just like them here because it's more traditional, and then you get a little bit more texture to the salsa. And then I'm gonna also fry the tomatillos, which in this case I'm using canned ones, but if you actually have access to fresh ones, it's even better. So now I'll start smashing the garlic, the habanero, and also it has the onions, and I added some lime juice and salt. Then I start adding the rest of the ingredients to our salsa, which in this case it's the tomatillos. Here they come. And then we smash and smash and smash. And now we have our delicious salsa tatemada, which is smelling amazing. But here, now we're taking out the pork that's been cooking for, roughly speaking, 10 hours. And it just looks amazing. I mean, it's super tender, and the smells that are just coming from this delicious preparation are incredible. There's a little bit of sourness, and there's a little bit of this citrus flavor that came from the orange, and you can clearly smell it. And as you can see, it just melts when you take it with the pliers. So let's take a free license on creativity and let's make the chipotle mayo. All you gotta add is mayonnaise, canned chipotle, and then sugar, and also salt. Since I'm using whole chipotles, I'm gonna use a hand mixer in order to make sure everything gets properly mixed. And this super quickly and super simple, we have a delicious chipotle mayonnaise we're gonna add up to our burrito. Now we're gonna move on to reheat the meat, and also part of the idea is that we're gonna also grill the cheese along with this meat. And you would be maybe using a vegan protein instead. So basically same steps so far, and then you would use rather vegan cheese, or you use regular cheese if it's vegetarian. So here we have the pork, and the cheese is perfectly melted. And now we're gonna do something very similar to what you would do with like quesadillas, for example, in which we're gonna put the flour tortillas to fry with the meat and with all the juices. And since this is a very colorful dish, the tortillas are also gonna have a very nice orange color after frying with all the mixture from the Achiote pibil sauce. And also it's gonna give it a little nice brown color and a little bit of more crispy texture to our tortillas. This is looking delicious, and we're basically ready to start assembling. And now we begin assembling our burritos. We start with the beans, and then we follow up with the Chinepec onions. These are super important. They have habanero and they have pineapple. They have sweetness, they have sourness. They are perfect to boost the flavors of the pibil pork. And right after, I proceed to put salad. You can also use rice. And then I'm adding the chipotle mayonnaise. And you can be quite generous with it, because I definitely want the flavor of the mayonnaise to come up. It's gonna mix super nicely with the pork, bringing a little bit of smokiness and sweetness. And then we have the salsa, which is made with habanero. It's a very fruity chili that's gonna top really nicely, and it's always the kind of chili that they use in South for all these sorts of dishes. And then again, let's not forget that there is also the Chinepec onions that have pineapple, that have also sourness, and all these flavors packed into a delicious, amazing burrito. And now we have it here, and there's nothing else but to give it a try. Make sure you're gonna cook it at home because it's delicious. Quickly, easy, and this is a special one. This is a really special recipe for me because this is definitely not traditional, and I know that mayonnaise is gonna make some people be like, what the hell is going on? But trust me, just do it. This was some sort of thing we just came up on the go in my restaurant, and it became #1. And I am pretty sure that people in Europe are gonna enjoy this all around the world, but I'm very, very sure that people in Oulu, and this is especially dedicated to all my customers from when I used to have my restaurants, because I know you're gonna enjoy this, you're gonna love it. There's something about Chipotle mayo, it just works great. Definitely one of my favorites. And please enjoy it and share about it and subscribe to the channel
share the video, give it a big like, tell us how it went, and provechito.